Yeah, time now to talk about the latest happenings with the city of San Antonio.
Join us now for our Monday with the mayor, Mayor Gina Ortiz Jones. Mayor, thanks for coming in this morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you all.
All right, last week, all of the hullabaloo about Project Marvel. Everybody thinks you're against Project Marvel.
Well, nothing could be further from the truth.
So what's the next move? I mean, you're calling for an independent analysis,
That's right.
cost analysis. I mean, it makes sense. How do you move forward with this since you're outvoted?
Well, so let's be very clear. I don't think people think I'm against it. What I have called for is what you would do, Barry, if you were buying a house.
Right.
You'd get an independent study. You wouldn't trust just the word of the person that was selling you the house, right? On the status of that house. You'd say, hey, no, let me go get some independent numbers on this. And the other thing I was asking for is making sure there's sufficient public input. Asking council members to go talk to their constituents at least twice, not only on what that independent study would show us, but also on the number. If you are a city voter, you're not paying just $489 million toward this. You're actually paying $800. Yeah, right? So let's be clear. No, and that's an important piece of the number. Like what people are paying is important. Right. 311 from the county, 489 from the city. That's $800 million if you're a city voter. Right, so 800 million of the 1.3 billion. And again, you have never heard me say, Barry, that I am against the project. I want to make sure we've got good data, we've got sufficient public input, and the people know what we're getting into. This is a generational investment because it's not just about the arena. There's all the infrastructure bills that go along with that, right? We don't have endless credit. Okay, we've got to pay for the infrastructure that goes along with this, as well as the other investments related to the Alamo Dome, Convention Center, all the things that actually make up Project Marvel. So that's where I'm at. Show us the data. Let's have a conversation with people. Let's go into this eyes wide open and smartly. Because again, as you all know, you all provide the news. You know how bad the economy is going to continue to get with tariffs. And we're going to continue to see some of these federal cuts, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, CHIP, SNAP. So let's go into this eyes wide open. That's all I'm asking for.
But it seems like, council has been very fractured, especially after, all of these votes and everything. How do you move forward now? Or is that even something you're worried about? Or will you continue to push forward with your stance, or will you act as a unified, council?
I think we all if you listened actually to what the council members said, there was a majority of council that still supported getting an independent economic impact study. There was a majority that supported that. And I think, but I will say, asking for that after you've already agreed to the term sheet is kind of like taking the test and then asking for the study guide. There are still aspects of that will be helpful as we continue to negotiate other parts of this. So I think, again, there's still interest and there's still value in getting that. In particular, right now we're going through budget season. Mm-hmm. Right, and that's all about, hey, how can we frankly get the most out of our general fund? And so one of the things that'll be really important that independent economic impact study helps us understand is how does this investment impact our general fund, our ability to pay for fire and cops and EMS and libraries and senior centers. Because again, when we look at the trajectory of our current budget, if we don't help ourselves, the $150 million gap that we have in 2027, that grows to $220 million by 2030. So we have to look at all of these things in the aggregate, just like you do in your own life. It's not just what can I afford this year, but hey, where do I want to be in 5 years? And how do I make a good financial plan? That is the conversation, Barry, that I want to have. So nobody should in any way think I'm against downtown development. I very much want to revitalize our downtown, but let's do it in a way that we all know what we're getting and we can actually afford it.
Is your sticking point on it, though, the fact that the ones that did this cost analysis have ties to the Spurs?
Well, I think... And
the independent, I think, is the key thing here.
Sir, that's exactly right. We need an independent economic impact study. I think this is, again, in your own life, you would always get a second opinion. Right? You'd always get a second opinion, and that allows us to have the confidence to say, you know what, those numbers are spot on. Because I think, there are some folks in our community, and you know what, I know because they call me and they send letters to my office and they email my office and said, thanks for looking out for us. And they'll say, I support this project, but I also support getting independent numbers. And I think that's how many in our community are thinking about this, because yes, we all want to support our Spurs. We're very excited about having the top 2 players in the NBA, but I think we also realize that we've got a pocketbook. The city's got a pocketbook, so let's be smart.
You also hinted last week about calling for a vote on the revenue bond as early as possibly May, maybe.
So there was
November.
a misunderstanding on that piece of it. So what I said is we can have a revenue bond election. May be too soon, just based on actually having the number on it. What people may vote though on in November is the infrastructure bond. There is an infrastructure bond. You do need to pay for the infrastructure for the downtown development. What voters have also expressed is an interest in, hey, when you put that before us, make sure you clearly delineate what is for drainage in places and what is for downtown development. Folks, again, want to have a say in the downtown project, and that may be their first opportunity to do that. I do support a revenue bond election so that voters who are paying twice can vote twice.
But technically, you don't need one.
You don't need one.
So
there's lots of things, but let's be very clear. Voters who are paying twice, I believe, should have the opportunity to vote twice. Because voting in November, they're going to go to that. They're going to go in there in November and say, that says 311. That's not all you're on the hook for. It's actually 800, right?
Oh.
So 311 for the county, 489 for the city. I think that just makes good sense. And people want to say in this project, my fear is based on how this has gone up to this point, no independent economic data, no opportunity to talk to their council member about $489 million before their councilperson voted on it. My concern is based on how this has gone, that folks in November may on principle vote against that. I want us to be successful. I think if we help people understand what we're trying to do to make them be included and informed, we will be much more successful in November.
I don't think we can push through a $1.3 billion program. Is what it is. Unfortunately, they're giving us the wrap.
Okay.
I wanted to get into the budget, but
Well, let me can I show you one more thing I'm excited about?
You got to do it quick.
I got to do it. So this Thursday, you know me, I'm very excited about advanced manufacturing, and I think we've got to do all that we can to make ourselves Military City USA 2040, 2045. So this Thursday, I'm very excited. This kind of happened late last week and over the weekend, but we have gotten the Taiwan Electrical and Electronic Manufacturing Association. It's a huge trade organization. It's a delegation specifically focused on electrical vehicles and electrical vertical and takeoff and landing vehicles. So these are the kinds of things that we need to be making in San Antonio. San Antonio wasn't originally on their stop, but I convinced them to come. So I'm very excited to host them on Thursday.
Good,
That's
I want
exciting.
my flying car.
That would be great for San Antonio.
That's right.
Mayor Gina Ortiz Jones, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next Monday.
Thank you.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thank you. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back.